In this week's parasha, we read about the fame and the fortune and the life tribulations of our forefather Yaakov, who was the patriarch who really had the most difficult life. And we read about how he flees from his home and he comes to Haran, and there he meets Rachel and he works for her for 7 years, and then he's tricked and he's given Leah. Then he marries Rachel and he has to work for another 7 years for his father-in-law Lavan. And eventually he makes a deal with Lavan that he will work and he will be the shepherd for the flocks, and Lavan will give him something in return. And there comes a point in the relationship where things were never great, but now they got particularly worse. And the Torah tells us, Vayar Yaakov et pnei Lavan. Yaakov saw the face of Lavan. Ve'enei einenu itmor kitmor shilshom. And it wasn't with him as it was yesterday and the day before. He saw the face of Lavan, and it wasn't the same as it had been yesterday and the day before. What did Lavan's face change? Did the eyes move around? What does that mean? He saw the face of Lavan, and Lavan's face was different. What the Torah is teaching us is that Yaakov was very sensitive to a person's body language. It's not just the words that are said, but the way in which you say it, and your body language. And Yaakov could pick up from Lavan that something had changed. It was something subtle. Maybe another person wouldn't have picked it up, but Yaakov could see that there was a change, and that he worked out that, it's time to go. This is a difficulty that we go through in the modern world. There are many different ways of communicating. There's communicating, you could phone somebody up, you can have a conversation with them one-on-one, but there's also WhatsApp, there's also Facebook, there's also emails, and people send a lot of words across this technology. But what you don't see is their facial expressions, their body language. When they said that word, did they mean that word as an insult? Did they mean that word as a compliment? What exactly did that say? And the messages become very vague and very difficult to work out. What exactly did that person mean? And people jump to conclusions. They think, he was insulting me, or he wasn't praising me enough. And therefore they send back an email which is angry and which can just exacerbate the situation. We have to be very careful that when we write these things, we write it in a neutral way, a way that doesn't put across any type of emotion. Just send the message, that's it. Because you're not able to pick up these subtle signs of what a person really meant. It's only when we speak to somebody face to face, when we can see their eyes and their mouth and their body, that we can really understand what they are saying. Because we are human beings of many components. We're not just the words that we say, but the way in which we say it, and what is in our heart, which is reflected upon our face. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.